Brasil FurFest. A convention which, by the end of this video, will have been running for 9 years, helped me see that there was a great world outside of the comfort of my apartment. This is the first time I attend a furry convention and my first time traveling outside of Argentina on my own. Given the little to no experience I had in furry conventions, I decided to play it safe and buy a basic ticket, which together with 5 nights at the convention hotel with a room for myself, plus the flight tickets, was less expensive than any other trip I could have planned around my country. Which was mainly the reason why I wanted to venture in this convention for so long. Other than that, this is just the beginning. How about we let the convention just speak for itself? Here we are, National in Jaraguá in São Paulo, Brazil, city center of one of the biggest towns in this amazing country. Since my arrival, people have been not nice, but the next level. Airport workers have a smile in their faces, everyone offers help, and that shows how rich of a culture Brazilian people have to offer to the rest of the world. All of this professionalism can be seen everywhere around. And in this vlog, I will attempt to cover the 4 core components that made this convention stand out as one of the most remarkable experiences I have seen so far. Now, if you follow my channel, you might already know that I am a rather boring YouTuber. What I mean is, I talk from my house, from what I read, what I know, and what I have to say. Because should I say I am not opinionated, I would be lying. However, talking to furries from all walks of life has helped me see what I need to pay attention to in order to say, well, this was good, or maybe this might need a little improvement to shine. Other than that, let's walk through Brasil FurFest in terms of organizational aspects, con venue, moving around the con, and my personal view, which I would like to call it the vision to the future. So come on, let's get started. During Thursday, or day 0 of the convention as I like to call it, I took my own tour around the convention center and the main areas of the hotel. You see, this time is key in order to recognize potential hangout areas before the convention actually starts, and the rooms which were then empty became super crowded. There were 3 potential areas on the ground floor which became areas of interest. Those were the bar, the sitting room next to the bar, and the resting area at the lobby. For obvious reasons, most of non-convention attendees could hang out with actual convention attendees, and the atmosphere was full of joy around these areas. It was a place for you to take pictures, hug each other, and grab a bite or a drink. Other than that, convenient areas within convention spaces, that is to say, where people are not supposed to go if they are not convention attendees, took place in underground levels, areas which you could access through both escalators and a series of service lifts. These areas hosted the meet and greet room and the main panels room, where most games would take place. In addition to other areas of interest, I also got to explore the surroundings of the hotel and found a very convenient 24-hour restaurant with typical Brazilian cuisine. Cuisine? They sell fried stuff, guys. And let me tell you that spot became a very common hangout area outside the hotel premises, which was actually really curious because most attendees would gather there to have dinner together. It was an extra plan, it was a very convenient place because it was both inexpensive and very tasty. However, spending time outside the areas of the hotel was strongly advised against, which actually took me by surprise. Unfortunately, Brazil has a high crime rate at night, and the city of São Paulo has countless gangs who were on the lookout around the convention center after seeing so many giant animals walking around, practically defenseless. The hotel had parking access fully supervised at all times, which allowed for suitors and attendees in general to hang out and go out a little. And even if the areas outside the venue were not completely safe, the hotel staff would always be on the lookout, issuing warnings when these gangs appeared outside. Fortunately, no one was mugged during the event, which shows security staff actually did a great job. Now, in connection with well-organized jobs, as the actual event began, things started to take shape. Now hey, welcome to Brasil FurFest day number 1. And in order to start talking about it, I would really like to focus on a very core aspect. When it comes to organizational aspects, the cornerstone of a well carried out event is, ladies and gentlemen, timing. Should you not respect the times you suggested as an organizer, you are not only showing a lack of professionalism, but you are disrespecting your attendees. Timing is key, at least for me, because I am a teacher. And if there's something a teacher knows is that time is everything in every aspect of education, lecturing, practicing, and even having fun. Were timing to be missed during an activity, well, your audience might get distracted, they might grow uncertainty, and you will inevitably lose credibility since no one will show on time to your plans, if this, of course, becomes a recurrent situation. That is why I believe time management was one of the pillars in my pre-sketch notebook while I was coming to Brasil FurFest. That's a topic that I wanted to talk about because that defines, at least for me, if a convention will run smoothly or not. In addition, having sound planning in regards to timing, your audience can schedule ahead the activities they want to take part in. Think it as a fine train line system. If your shuttle trains are delayed, the safest choice for the company will be canceling other trains, and people get generally frustrated if their trains are cancelled because their plans get modified. Well, the same happens with convention activities like panels and games. Should time not fit, others will suffer the consequences inevitably. In order to prevent that, what I did was wait until activities actually started on Thursday evening, where pre-registration was supposed to happen. That would be the acid test of how timing was going to be managed. According to the convention schedule, pre-registration would begin on Thursday by 8 p.m. As the day went by, attendees would go about their businesses and most importantly buy dog or cat food. Because something really worth mentioning is that charity begins before the event in Brasil FurFest.
So something great about this convention is that when you register, not only are you required to present your credentials and all that, but you also need to provide it like a donation for a shelter. So that's why we bought in the supermarket some dog food and some cat food. So, to be Pretty good with with both words, like cats and dogs.
As you register, you're supposed to donate at least a kilogram of dog or cat food for the animal shelter to which the whole event's monetary donations would go.
Hi guys! Hope you guys enjoy this edition. So it's your first time here, right?
It's my first time here.
Okay, so feel yourself comfortable and have fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go.
As you register, you're supposed to donate at least a kilogram of dog or cat food for the animal shelter to which the whole event's monetary donations will eventually go. I am not really sure other events do this, but it really looked cute to me. As a fox myself, I wanted to be in good terms with both evil and good, so both dogs and cat got a donation from me. Now, when did registration begin? Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the reg line. By 7:52 p.m., attendees started to be called to sign up for the event. And by 8:50, almost everyone who arrived on Thursday was already registered. And then, the convention officially started on time. Now, after proving that timing and schedules were going to be met, I proceeded to go to my room, start planning the events I wanted to visit, schedule in hand, paper in the other, and that was mainly how I navigated the event. In connection to navigating the events, many people would just go outside and enjoy activities as they showed up. Personally speaking, I prefer to have a plan because if not, you will get all stressed out, and that's not the idea for a convention that is actually that big. Generally speaking, everything runs smoothly. So it was very easy to plan, enjoy activities, and pretty much cover every panel you might have wanted to attend. I myself am an old school furry, so paper and pen helped me a lot. But for the techies, the convention offered a phone application containing the program, the timetables, and an option to plan ahead your day in order to make your own convention plan. That is to say, you were able to make your own plan, mark the events that you wanted to attend, and have your timetable arranged by the application so that you could just open your phone and attend the panels. I did not use it, but I believe it was a great addition to the convention, something worth mentioning. Now, you might think that everything was all fun and games, but let me tell you that there was actually a downside that I really feel the need to comment on. I am sure the managing of such a big number of attendees poses, as we say, a big challenge. BFF 2025 welcomed 1,356 members, 362 of whom were fursuiters. Such a number is no easy task to host in a hotel whose conference rooms were a little tiny. So yes, I will comment on the fact that the rooms were a little small in order to host such a numerous event. One clever solution the organization team came up with was having a main panel room with screens showing the opening and closing ceremony, which were the most attended events of the convention. This in turn allowed me to talk about both room management and also tier management. If I had to be honest with you, I totally regret not having bought a higher tier for this convention. At the beginning, I said that I just bought the normal tier because it was my first convention and I did not know much about what was awaiting for me. But what I was able to see was that accesses and benefits were very well respected throughout the whole convention, and your early accesses were a safe way to save your spot in a very crowded room in these crowded ceremonies. Among with other benefits like having private dinners or actually gaining early access to other panels or even the dealers den, I believe it's a great way to support such a convention. Other than that, the con space was quite perfect. Everyone would fit in rooms, everyone would get to see what they had planned to see, and all the activities in general ran smoothly, which speaks highly of both the attendees organizing their schedules and the actual staff that the convention had. Now, speaking of activities running smoothly, what really presented a big show was the crazy number of fursuiters this convention received. All over the common space areas, you could see someone squeaking, jumping, frolicking, or even spreading their arms to hug you. And that, in my own view, was mainly due to two main reasons. The first one must be obvious, but it's worth mentioning. The furry community is one big diverse group that no matter where you come from, you will be welcomed. The other factor is indirect connection with the event venue itself. The common areas outside of the con exclusive rooms were really big. It is true that some specific areas were a little smaller, like panels and the main stage area, but the common spaces allowed for everyone to go along relatively easily. Ease of access around con spaces was actually key. All areas were guided with signs in both Portuguese and English, which is something worth mentioning as well. The language barrier was almost inexistent. All staff members knew how to speak English and Portuguese, and quite the majority of the attendees in Brazil also spoke English as well. Communication was fluent mostly since rules, announcements, and ceremonies were carried out in both languages. This might sound a little superfluous, but it really feels nice that people care about communicating with you. It makes you feel welcomed and part of the community. And personally speaking, the language barrier was an issue I was quite concerned about, since even if Spanish and Portuguese are similar, I have a really bad time trying to understand it. You see, I failed Portuguese classes terribly in the past, and it was a genuine fear on my side not being able to communicate. It was a relief that the convention organization contemplates these details, since it not only makes you feel welcomed, as I mentioned before, but it shows the staff's vision of the future this convention potentially has. Offering a bilingual convention option opens doors for a more international experience, which was totally seen at Brasil FurFest. There were numerous attendees from the USA, Europe, and Latin America as well. And this is important because it shows the potential this convention has to become even bigger with every future edition. And speaking of international talent, how about we see what the world's artists offered at Brasil FurFest? Let's go! The dealer's den was divided in 3 main spaces, the main area and 2 secondary rooms, in order to offer a more varied market. The word variety is what mainly defined my experience at the dealers. Its main strength was the wide range of furry merch that was on display. Stickers, pins, posters were very common, but at the same time there were fursuits, fursuit parts, music and discography, clothes, and even plushies. Prices were relatively accessible, and again, all the artists offering their products were able to speak both English and Portuguese. Payment methods ranged from cash to credit cards and digital wallets even, which was convenient because it helped you move smoothly throughout the stands. However, I do have to acknowledge that the space was relatively small. The number of stands and how much they would offer provoked that walking around the dealer's den was a little difficult. A good idea for next year would be to offer a more spacious room where stands are not stuck to each other but separated at least a meter from each other. That way, observers can have their chance to walk around and look more closely without actually packing all stands, making it hard for both the dealers and the buyers to interact. Other than that, that would be my only negative criticism, since the rest was quite well done. Ventilation was not even a problem, since the rooms were air conditioned enough for everyone to breathe normally, which made the experience much more enjoyable despite how packed the rooms were. Last but not least, in addition to the event's activities, there were 2 main moments I wanted to comment on. The first one was the Fursuit Games, and the second one was the Fursuit Parade. In contrast with other conventions I've seen online, Brasil FurFest mainly focused their fursuiting activities inside the hotel. Should I comment on this, I would have liked to fursuit around the city. However, I am also aware of the dangers that going out poses, especially down here in Latin America. A fursuit parade around the convention hotel outside would have been chaotic. Drivers are crazy in São Paulo, and the city is not the safest around. However, I do acknowledge the parade being around the hotel main areas was both creative and actually quite unique. The staff would guide us fursuiters around a preset course ranging from the underground levels through escalators into to the lobby and bar to eventually go back to the main stage where the group photo was taken. All in all, the convention activities stood up for themselves, and that's why I would also like to mention the organization of after-con activities. For example, room parties. These activities make to the whole experience of the after hours of a convention. But to be honest, despite the fact that there were many, people in general enjoy the con activities more than actual room parties. I have quite a strong opinion on the balance of measuring an experience, which basically holds that if you enjoyed the room parties more than the actual convention, well, let me tell you that did not go to a convention, you went to a night party or a fur meet. I'm sorry for being so opinionated on it, but I can't seem to find a better explanation to put this perspective forward. And looking forward to what's coming, day 3 rolled in, and so the convention came to an end. But this is what stood up for me. Its vision to the future. Brasil FurFest is growing, and not just in numbers. Next year is moving to a brand new hotel, bigger with more amenities and fully reserved just for the convention. This year's edition saw the hotel sharing space with other guests, which sometimes might come off a little uncomfortable, especially for normie guests who are taking a vacation and they have to put up with crazy animal people like us. But since next year the entire hotel will be exclusively for attendees, the event will feel more exclusive, giving more breathing room, more possibilities to have fun, and a space that truly feels like it belongs to us. Safe to say, maybe, that the fursuit parade could be held outside too. Who knows? It surely sounds like a great chance in both comfort and the idea of, well, hey, we are big enough to have a hotel solely for us, which is a feeling that transmits both professionalism and a sound business preparation. But it's not just about changing venues, it's about vision. The staff's level of organization is honestly impressive, and believe me, I am not trying to polish their apples, but I really need to acknowledge when a good job is done. I am a teacher, I can't help but provide feedback when I like something that I not only saw, but that I also paid for. Vision to the future was seen throughout the closing ceremony. Even before this year's con ended, next year's guest of honor was already announced, and the venue was confirmed. That kind of forward planning gives clarity and confidence, especially for those investing in higher tier tickets. You know who you're going to meet, you know where you're going, and you can tell the people behind it care deeply about what they are building. And it doesn't stop there. Brasil FurFest isn't just thinking about itself, it's also thinking about everyone else. From the charity efforts that supported local causes to their support for other furry events like FurCamp and the upcoming First Meet, a new convention which will be taking place in the south of Brazil, FurFest is helping create a network where the entire Brazilian community can thrive. It's not just a convention, it's a movement, one built on collaboration, commitment, and, well, the belief that the fandom shines brighter when we grow together. So, if I had to pick one phrase to sum up Brasil FurFest, it would definitely be growth in motion. Not just in numbers or scale, although it's clear that the convention is getting bigger each year, but in the way it welcomes diversity, builds safer spaces, and shows that the fandom is alive and constantly evolving. From bilingual signage to the culture of respect I witnessed across the staff and attendees, Brasil FurFest isn't just looking to throw a party, they are planting the seeds of something bigger. My experience here reminded me that conventions are more than just meetups or markets for merch. They are moments of connection, they are moments of stories shared together, and most importantly, a safe haven for people like me who took a leap into the unknown just to see if they would be accepted. Brasil FurFest proved that even if you're traveling alone, you'll never truly be alone once you arrive, because this community embraces you, entertains you, and makes you feel loved and accepted. The future of this event looks promising, and if this was just my first time, I can't wait to see what's next. But that is for sure. see you all back again in Brasil FurFest 2026. This was Xylee the Fox, and I hope you have enjoyed this con vlog review. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take good care of yourselves, everyone. Meow.
No, la policía.